That's what you have offered. But this summer, you're right, man. This summer we had stuff like you said, Iron Man. I would even put the Hulk in there. We had Batman. I mean, this was, and not to mention because of Batman, this was a very historical summer.
Hey, you know, when I look at like Kung Fu Panda and Wally, it's like I can't look at these lower quality animated movies anymore. Like ever since those two came out, it's like.
Yeah.
I don't want steakum no more. I want some steak sandwiches.
I hear you, brother.
You know, when I was a little kid, Mom used to make the steakum, and it was good. And then I started eating some real quality steak sandwiches, and like I cannot eat steakum for shit. I mean, like please get that fake meat away from me.
By the way, kids
I
out
live
there,
in Philadelphia.
steak
sandwiches. It's a requirement eating.
By the way, what Surf is referring to is steakums, which were these. I believe steakums wasn't even real meat. Steakums was like some processed meat, and they came in thin slices. And when you heated them up, it was like they say, now this is just like having a steak sandwich. It's like bullshit. This is not steak. This is a dog would eat this shit. And so what you're saying is you don't want steakums. You want a steak dinner. And that's what this summer was. Last summer was steakums. This summer is a steak dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think next year, man, it's gonna be. People just think they're not gonna be happy by next year. I don't think there's gonna be many movies that's gonna hold up to the movies that came out this year.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm one of those people that like between like 82 and 84. It's like that was my years for movies.
Well, I'm thinking back to 90 to 99 where we had Fight Club and American Beauty. We even had cool animated stuff. You're going to laugh at me, but I still think Tarzan was a pretty good film. I think you had something like Three Kings at the time. Movies that didn't even get that much attention where they were really good films. Some of your smaller movies were great. Your bigger movies were great.
You know what? I think I missed that year when it came to movies.
What do you mean? What, were you on Mars or something? What the hell you mean you missed that year?
I just weren't going to the movies much.
What happened to you? What you chained up in a basement? What do you mean?
I was working some long hours. And going to movies just wasn't in the picture.
Oh, okay, so you were broke doing that. Well, that's too bad because you missed out on a good year.
No, I was working on. You know what? I realized I go to the movies more when I'm broke than when I'm making money.
Okay, you might want to explain that to people because there's a lot of broke ass people out there right now. How the hell do you do that?
Hey, when I'm making money, I'm making money. And as long as I'm making money, that's what I think about. I'm focused on making money. If I got to work 10, 16 hours and make that money, I'm making that money. And 2 hours in the theater is taken away from me making money.
You sound like a rapper right now. When I'm making that money, I'm making that money. I'm making that bank. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm making that money. You still explaining to me.
Get rich or die trying.
Sneak into the theater, die trying and get your ass busted because that's what you do. You said, I ask you a question. I say, how do you get into a theater when you're not making money? And you just drove the long way around that answer. I said,
no, it does seem like the more I work, the less I see movies. And like when I'm working average, I get time for movies. But when you putting in overtime and those paychecks are looking bigger and bigger, don't be thinking about going to movies.
Sir, it's just funny. I asked you, I said, how do you see movies when you're broke? Man, I make that money. I make that dollar, man. I don't do none of that stuff. When I'm making money, I'm making money. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the hell does it have to do with you going to see movies? So what you're saying is, okay, let me get this straight. When you're not making money, that means you have more time to probably go see movies, but you're not paying for them because you're getting the free tickets to go see them.
Well, that's just something recent. You know, I learned that recently how to get into the free movies. I still, you know, if a movie's good, I'll go back and pay for it, you know.
Well, how the hell were you going to see movies when you were broke, when you had to pay for them? What were you doing? There's a secret in there that people need to know. I mean, if you could write a book about it, you probably get paid right then.
No, I mean, I'm not saying broke like nobody. I'm just saying like when you're working average hours and the paycheck wasn't looking all that great. I go to the movies.
You sneak in.
My last dollar.
I see you saving money by eating those steakum sandwiches, probably sneaking a few into the theater with you. So, look, man, okay, I hear what you said. You probably were like me at one point. Like you have certain pastimes that you like to do, and having money to do those are what you do. You don't spend a whole lot of money on anything else but that one thing that you like to do.
Well, most of my money goes towards the books. You know, 10, 15 years ago, I'd easily spend like $100 a week in a comic book store.
God damn, boy, you and Leon need to hang out with each other. You know that? Because y'all be some. The comic book store would be like everybody else. We got two Negroes with money coming in here to buy some books, and they got money. Y'all got to get that. Let them have the reign of the store because they're going to spend some money.
No, I was buying cards. I was buying all kinds of back issues. I was buying everything.
Damn,
it was like.
I mean, I ain't gonna say anything because I know you like football and you're probably a big dude and you know you probably slapped the shit out of me. But
I don't want to talk about football because I had to get rid of my Sunday ticket for this season.
But I'm just saying, you a mysterious brother, man. I mean, you nobody can pin you down. You got money, but you don't have money. You like football, but you like comic books. You're a nerd, but you're not a nerd. But I can't pin you down, man.
Hey, I'm not. Come on now, look. You know what cracks? Listen, this is what cracked me up. It's like everybody likes calling themselves nerds and everything. And the whole thing was at one time to do what you do and not be labeled. But now everybody wants to be labeled, so I don't get it. I don't get kids.
Hey, man, look, I know what you're saying. In fact, I'll tell you a story in a little bit, but no, getting back to what you were saying about the movies, man. The movies, yeah, and I look at even, like you brought up a good point, even the animated movies are far superior than what we had last year. We had Shrek 3, and I think we had something else, I can't remember, but I know, and we're not going
to animated well, but that movie storyline, it fell apart, like.
Mm-hmm. But look at what we had. We're not going to count Space Chimps or anything like that this year. But we had Kung Fu Panda and we had WALL-E. I mean, we had a DreamWorks movie. I mean, and I think we had a DreamWorks movie last year, didn't we? I can't remember. But anyway,
yeah, they did. DreamWorks did Kung Fu Panda.
I mean, I'm sorry. No, I mean, not a DreamWorks, but a Pixar movie. We had.
That was WALL-E.
WALL-E, and then did we have a Pixar movie last year?
Ratatouille.
Okay, so okay, so either way it goes, I mean, I guess we did have some good movies back last summer, because I like Ratatouille a lot, actually. But overall, I see what you're saying. It is far superior in what we have. I mean, we had two very good comic book movies. We had two very good animated movies, two of them, and we've also had some very funny comedies. I mean, I might have not liked all of them, but they've pretty much been reviewed favorably. So yeah, it's a good point you made. A very good year. But even though we had far superior movies, and that's all a matter of opinion, but I'm just going by how movies were reviewed, and I think consistently the movies we had this summer were reviewed better than they were last summer. Even with that taken into account, last summer made more money.
Well, you know, they had three big franchises. They were like automatic, and like this year, you didn't know what was automatic. Like nobody knew Dark Knight was going to like be ruler of the universe with 500 million. I mean, they figured it would do like what the first one did, maybe a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Iron Man, they weren't sure what they were going to do. None of these movies, you didn't know if they was going to be blockbusters or not. You figured they'd be blockbusters, and you know, like you got last year, you got like 4 movies that made 300 million. Mm-hmm. Compared to this year, there was 3 movies that made over 300 million.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I just I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for the summer that we had, because overall, even with some of the movies that I might have criticized, I did have a very good time this summer, and I'm very happy to see that a lot of these movies were able to have some sort of financial success. Even though we had some really bad ones too. I guess Disaster Movie kind of came on the brink of summer being over, so we won't even count that. But you know what? And a lot of people, I agree. I own up to being sort of nerdy and geeky. Man, everybody has it in them. I mean, how do you think I got into what I'm doing right now? I mean, it didn't come by me because I was captain of the football team when I was in high school. But I'll tell you something though. A lot of people want to know why I have this thing against D&D or Dungeons and Dragons or role playing. I don't really have anything against role playing games, because I kind of play games that are video games that kind of take those elements. But doing the thing where you roll the dice and all this kind of stuff, I'll give you a quick story of what happened to me when I was a kid. I was kind of getting into D&D. All right, you heard it from me right here. I about 10 years old, 11 years old.
I never got into it. I mean, I tried one time. My brother had bought me a set. He was like, "Yeah, while you're away at college, we'll play over the phone or whatever. He was like, he was too busy chasing tail, and I was chasing tail. So
yeah, well, no, that man, I'm talking about when I was like about 10 or 11. I got into my tail chasing time later, but I mean 10 or 11, I got into it, and I couldn't tell what the hell was going on. I mean, I'm 11 years old trying to figure out a fucking D&D instruction booklet, and I'm bored out of my mind. But later on down the line, I started kind of getting back into it. I said, I want to figure this out. I mean, even as a kid, I was just like, I'm not going to stop until I actually get this right. And the thing that kind of turned me around was, okay, so there was a role playing game group in town. And I'm from Waco, so that was kind of amazing to me that people did this in Waco, because nobody did anything in Waco except or the Blizzards at Dairy Queen. So we go to Baylor and watch football. But anyway, so I'll go to this group. And it's a weird group. I mean, it's full of adults. Now, I'm not saying that D&D players are like this now, and maybe it's just Waco. I don't know. But the adults were so socially, I don't want to say socially retarded, but that's kind of what I'm leading up to. They were just kind of so socially inept that they didn't know how to respond to a little kid in there. Because I know if I was doing this, a little kid came in, it's like, hey, let me take you under my wing. Sit down right here. I'm going to show you how the game is played. This is how you do it. This is what happens. Hey, everybody, let's help little Corey out. But no, these guys came in and said, yeah, sit down and just watch us play. And then they just went on doing their thing. Now, when I was in there, it seemed kind of weird, but it was still kind of normal because everybody was dressed in regular clothes. Now, the longer I stayed, that's when you had the people. That's when you had Gandalf showing up. You know, you had people showing up dressed in armor, people showing up dressed in robes like wizards and shit. And my mom came to pick me up, and when she picked me up, she saw a Honda pull up and a fucking wizard step out of it. And she's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And she might have thought it was the Grand Dragon of the Clan or something. I don't know why but she freaked out. And when she came and she got me, got in the car, and she's like, did I just see a wizard walk in there? A man dressed up like a wizard? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you know I'm not bringing your ass back here. And I was like, yeah. Because she's like, you know this ain't doing anything for your social life. And I was like, my mom was already kind of weird about me at the time. She thought, and I'm not saying it's bad to be gay, but my mom thought I was like teetering on being gay. And when you're a black kid, back then it wasn't cool to be young and gay. And so she was just, this is the last thing I need right here. I got my gay son who wants to go in and hang out with wizards. So I was like, hey, you know something? Maybe she's right in this point. Maybe I just really need to kind of try to be cool a little bit.
And the ones that dressed up, did they also do the role playing like out in the park somewhere,
Nah, man, this is way before that. I mean, wasn't where they actually got so, today we got people who are out there, they're putting on trash can lids armor and going out there.
No, they were doing that. They were doing it way a long time ago. That's not nothing new.
All right. Well, I never saw that, man. They didn't do that. I don't know why they were coming in dressed like that. I think they just liked the fact that they could dress up like wizards and elves and shit. I don't know. I mean, I didn't stay around to ask. I just know at the time, my mom, she really did convey to me, like, in my case, I was already kind of a dorky kid. This is the last thing I needed. She knew. She said, now, I think he's gay, and that means he's probably not going to be sleeping with women, but the route he's going, the road he's going down, he's not going to even be able to sleep with men. He ain't going to get anything. And she was kind of right. I was dorky enough to like teeter over the edge of being Urkel if I wasn't careful. So I really thank my mom for doing that. So now I kind of make fun of D&D players.
That's why I lived a well-rounded childhood. I did a little bit of everything. So nobody would question me, and somebody did question me, I'd put them in their place. It's like, no, do what the hell I want to do, Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, no. For me, man, like right now, I mean, I'm not no punk. I mean, a lot of people think I'm this goofy guy and everything. I mean, I'm not a boxer or anything. But I'm big enough to not back down from a fight. But
you're bigger than me.
Well, I will not run away from anything. So this whole goofy image you got, I mean, you might be able to beat the shit out of me, but we will go down somehow together. Or I will come behind you with a bat and knock your ass. No, I'm not a badass or anything, man. My point is, I'm joking around right now. I don't want people to think I'm sitting up here like my dick is small, but I'm a strong motherfucker. No, it's not like that. My point is that yes, growing up and being collecting comic.
I know you started getting hard once you started watching those Dolomite movies. You gave me some hard too.
No, man. Now, Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore, boy, look it up, kids. I ain't even going into it now. But growing up like kind of a black nerdy guy, man. I was collecting comic books. I was watching cartoons all day long. I mean, I'm at home look, I'm sitting up here watching Transformers and Secret of NIMH and all this kind of stuff, trying to learn how to draw. And I mean,
was it about the original Transformers?
Well, they had yeah. I'm watching
the 80s. Yeah. Well, listen, I was already like 18 when that came out, and I went away to college.
Mm-hmm.
And when people saw me come down to the rec room at 4:00, they knew what to turn it on to. And then it got to a point where more people were watching Transformers and G.I. Joe with me than they were previously watching the soap operas.
See, you can be cool like that. If you're cool, you kind of bring people into your geekiness, and they don't know. You got to Trojan horse people into it. But see, I wasn't able to do that. I kind of had to hide mine. I grew up watching. I mean, I was trying to learn how to draw kind of. I was watching tons of Disney movies and stuff like that. So I had to sit around and just kind of say, all right, you know what? I'm bound to get beat down. So I had to learn how to be cool. I mean, like when I was 18, I was much bigger than I was now because I was lifting weights every day. I was sitting up there trying to dress right and groom myself. I wanted to talk to girls, and then I started getting there. And then secretly, I would go home and put on something like Cinderella and watch that all day long and be very happy. But you got to learn how to defend yourself after a point, if you're going to be a black nerd, I think.
How do you learn to defend yourself? What you given that? I know me. Truthfully, I hated fight when I was a little kid, and I come home and be like, these people want to fight me all the time. My mom be like, look, you got a choice. You can go fight them, you can fight me. I was like, okay, I'll go fight them.
Damn. So you had that kind of mom. You had that kind of mom where, you get your ass beat out in the street, and then you come home and get another ass beaten for losing.
No, not for losing, for not trying to defend myself. I would try to... I wasn't scared. I just would try to avoid fights, and sometimes you can't do it. And, you get chased home, and you got to get back out there,
Jesus,
show that
man.
boy something, or else you get your ass whipped by me. So it's your choice.
Damn,
I learned how to kick some ass.
You had the ultimate black mom, the one that would like beat your ass, just looking for an excuse to whoop your ass.
Well,
I mean, sit up there, your mom come up there and just like, slap the shit out of you. What was that for? Shit, that's for when you fuck up later on. Sit down and eat. Nah, man, I don't know how we got on this term of being black nerds. I guess because we both had that sort of element about us, being that we're both into movies. Because I get a lot of people on this.
I'm not a nerd. God damn it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I get.
See, you know what? Now the people at the bookstore I go to every week, they're gonna hear this, and they've been getting on me since the first time you tried to call me that.
Man, because you are.
There,
you walk in there and what? And get called a nerd. What happened? No, go ahead. We walk in the bookstore and what? You come about the comic book store.
And they're like, nerd. Now, I'm like, ain't no fucking nerd.
Look, man, being black and being into this, I get messages from people every day. If we are black and we're in the comics now, there's a whole, I mean, I can tell you, there's a whole lot of closeted black nerds out there. All right, I mean that's the truth. I mean, we got more in common. We sit up here and make fun of each other because we don't want to admit that we secretly go home and do nerdy stuff. I mean, and I know you and I are out now. We let everybody know. But yes,
Why can't I be a nerd? Why can't I just be a regular guy? I'm into what I'm into.
Because
I like science fiction. I like reading books. I like getting laid.
Okay. I mean, it don't matter, man. You know how it is right now. I get messages from all these people. Like I got a message from a couple of messages from a couple of girls who were like saying on my campus, and I think a guy on my campus. A lot of the black kids, they don't talk to me about the kind of stuff that I like to talk about here, which is stuff like you said, science fiction, movies. I mean, simple things such as movies, comic books, whatever. And they say, and I'm scared to tell them because they'll label me as some sort of geek and not in a good way. I mean, we just don't come out to other black people about these kind of things.
Oh no, I don't have a problem coming. All my friends know what I'm into, and they know. I leave me alone. I'm doing my thing. When I see you, we want to get together and have some beers. We have some beers, but other than that, you got nothing to say to me or make fun of me about anything. Okay. I make that clear.
All right.
To all my friends. So.
All right. I mean, okay, man. Hey, you a bigger badass.
That 1.5 friend I got, he leaves me alone. I'm just kidding.
That one, okay. Well, that's why it's so easy for you because you're friends with a grown man and a midget, so you know it's not. But for a popular guy like myself, I just can't come out and say these kind. No, everybody knows now. Everybody knows. I mean, and you get to a certain level where you don't care. I'm just saying there's a certain period, and you can't tell me, Surfer, that you didn't go through this where you wondered who you could tell. Certain people, what people you could tell these things to that you were interested in stuff like science fiction and comic books and movies and animation and all kind of things.
I never had a problem telling anybody what I was into.
You're a better man than I am. I mean, because I was.
What was the? Especially now, I'm a grown fucking man. I do what the fuck I want to do.
Damn. Okay,
so
man. Hey, I'm sorry.
I've been watching Saturday morning cartoons since they first came out in like '70, and I never miss a weekend. And I get mad when I do miss a weekend, okay? And this will be the first freaking year I'm not going to have no cartoons to watch this year because they took all the good shit off. All that shit is too young for me now.
I just love the way you just getting pissed right now. Now I'm feeling it. You was kind of sleepy before. You're like, hey, man, what's up? But now you're like, I'm a grown goddamn fucking man. You don't tell me what to do, motherfucking. See, I watch cartoons. I'll be happy. I whoop your fucking ass on some Transformers. You hear me? I'm like, goddamn, he's really mad.
Nah, I'm not mad. I just do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. As long as I'm not bothering you, you don't bother me.
I thought you were bulking out. I say bulk because I call you the Black Hulk. I thought you were bulking out. I'm sorry. All right, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. Hey, tell you what. Enough lollygagging. Let's go ahead and get into some email right now. How about that? All right, so our first email comes from the ultimate Canadian movie guru, and this addresses the fall movie season that's coming up. He wants to know. Oh, well, I'm just up here setting this thing up. Let me just go ahead and read it. It says, with the Oscar season starting, there's going to be movies like Burn After Reading, Appaloosa, Body of Lies, W, Soul Man, The Soloist, Australia, Frost, Nixon, and Valkyrie. Which of these sort of Oscar potential films are you looking forward to the most? And with all the hatred going to 20th Century Fox recently over the whole Watchmen debacle, are all their movies not making, and with all their movies not making any money this summer, how do you think Fox can recover? Sorry, I'm far away from the screen, so I can hardly see these goddamn letters on here. Well, first of all, I've only seen
Fox. How they can recover? Go back in a fucking time machine to when they used to be the standard, the quality for good movies. You know, when you had that 20th Century Fox thing come up in the big 70mm screen, you know you was getting a good ass movie.
Man, let me tell you something. When you heard that music come on, that like they're the company that gave us Star Wars. I mean, you heard dun 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 dun. You want to get up and salute, like the president was coming out or something, like a king was walking through. And you're like, that music means quality. And now today you hear that, you're like dun 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 dun. You're like, oh, I don't want to hear that shit. You know. But you're right, man. You're pretty much right. Look. We've talked a lot about Fox, and I'm going to tell you, we've talked about the head of Fox probably being the problem. We've talked about maybe they just don't care anymore, and they're just concentrating on making a quick buck. I mean, we have all these theories about what's going on with Fox, and a lot of studios go through this. I mean, if you ask me my personal opinion, and this is me not being a part of Fox Studios or anything, I'm just taking a guess here. I'm just going to say, look, yes, part of it has to do with Fox leadership. 20th Century Fox's leadership. I think that what is it? Tim Rothman, whatever the guy's name is, the head of Fox. I think him and the rest of Fox need to listen to the people who are talking out there. They need to listen to real fans of movies. They don't need to put their hands in all these comic book movies and say people don't want to see them. They're stupid, because as of now we see that they're successful. They need to be smarter about the projects that they choose. They need to quit being so careful, maybe. I don't know.
It's not even that. I mean, like I said, we was talking about back in the day. You also had the directors that was associated with 20th Century Fox, you know? Lucas and Spielberg, and you had some good directors. They was putting out some bomb-ass movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe they burnt too many bridges. You know, these guys are like.
Well, I mean, I look. We see this happening all the time. I mean, I don't have a timeline of the history of every theater, but we often see theaters going through. If you want to read upon it and go back and look, I'm sure you will see that every studio has had a string of flops or a string of movies that have not made a lot of money, and there's a shakeup. And something happens. They either change leadership or people are switched back and forth. Executives come in and out. And 20th Century Fox at some point is going to go through a wake-up call. And yes, they will be making great movies. They'll be making some of the best movies out there again, and they'll be making money makers. And yeah, they'll have their time. Every studio goes through a slump for whatever reason.
Well, it seems like right now the best studio out there is Pixar.
If you want to get to it, yeah, and Pixar is with Disney, so I guess Pixar is really bringing Disney to the forefront.
No,
I
ain't say Disney. Disney
is a distributor
by themselves, so it's average.
Yeah, Pixar, and I wonder how that happens. Pixar is, I mean, they are even some of their worst films, and I use the word worst loosely because I think every Pixar movie has an element of quality to it. But yeah, I mean, every movie that they make, they've had the luxury of going in and being able to actually create great stories and take their time with it. I think that does happen. That does have some involvement with being with Disney, because I would like to see how they
talent.
Well, no, it is talent, but I would like to see how they would operate on their own without being involved with Disney. I think they're working towards that.
Actually, I think you have seen what it's like for them to operate on their own. And WALL-E.
Well, WALL-E was still distributed through Disney.
I believe they started that after they left Disney the first time. Because, the movies take a good 3 years or more. And they were gone for a while. So they had to have started that while they was going from Disney, and they came back, they made up. So they're like, look, this is our baby. We want it out there. And I said, okay. That's cool. They're writing checks for us.
Well, I mean, I think that it was a relationship with Disney. I mean, they were able to get their movies distributed through Disney. They had a lot of involvement with Disney, and Disney helped make them successful. So, I mean, it's a give and take. Disney has made, Pixar has made Disney a lot of money, and Disney has helped build them up to power. I believe I'm wrong. Then tell me, but anyway,
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I'm just speaking very loosely. I think I know Pixar, but perhaps I don't. There's a cool Pixar book out there describing the history of the company that I'll probably get, and then I'll come back and give you that answer. But that's not even what the email was asking. As far as the Oscar movies that you're talking about, Oscar season is a weird thing for me because there are movies that come out before Oscar season that are good, and they get overlooked just because they don't come out in that frame of time. So I really don't look at movies anymore in that way, saying, oh, what Oscar movies am I going to like? I just look at a lot of movies and say, hey, I think this is a great movie, and it's a shame that it's going to be overlooked because it didn't come out within that 3 months before December. But a lot of those movies that were listed on this email, they look very promising to me. I mean, Burn After Reading looks good. That's a Coen Brothers movie. W, I really want to see how that comes together. I wonder how they.
I've seen 8 years of W. So.
You've seen, what you say, you don't need to see a movie about it. 2 hours more is too much. Body of Lies, the Ridley Scott movie with Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio looks really good, man. I mean, I don't know how the movie will play out, but it has me kind of interested. And I really want to see what Soul Man is going to be like. That's the movie with Bernie Mac, Samuel Jackson, and... what's his name? Isaac Hayes. 2 of those guys are dead now that we know of. So, and that would be Bernie Mac and Isaac Hayes, of course. So naturally, just like with Heath Ledger from Batman, I want to see how this movie comes out. I hope the movie's not shit, because it's going to be really bad for those brothers to be in a shitty movie and die with that. That's the last thing that they've done. But Valkyrie, you told me Valkyrie looks pretty cool. I haven't seen a trailer for that.
Yeah, well. I wasn't sure about that movie until I saw the one trailer they put out there, and it looked like it's going to be one of those on the edge of your seat thrillers. You got these guys trying to plot Hitler's assassination.
Now we have Tom Cruise as a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Which he really is in life, right? I mean, that's Scientologist, Nazi. It's kind of the same thing, right? No, I'm kidding, man. I don't know what I'm talking about. But no, it's so I haven't seen a trailer for that or anything, but I know the movie keeps getting pushed back. And isn't his company producing that? United Artists?
It got moved back up.
Oh, it did. Okay, all right.
Yeah, okay. It was supposed to come out in the summertime, then it got pushed back to next year, and then it got brought back up to Christmas because of I think Harry Potter movie.
All right, gotcha. Oh, is that a United Artists movie from his company?
Yeah.
Okay. He needs a hit for that company, man. And like Lions for Lambs didn't do well and whatnot. So I hope they're pushing this up because they have high hopes for it. I mean, Tom Cruise, I have newfound respect for him for making fun of himself in Tropic Thunder. Well, I don't know if he's really making fun of himself, but he did. He wasn't taking himself dead serious about taking that role. He knew what he was doing. So, hey, I've always liked Tom Cruise as an actor, and hope he can pull this off. So, let's go ahead and get into our next email here, which is from Brandon. And Brandon says, "Just got back from LA and Universal Studios. I got on the backlot tour to see what was so awesome about it, and I got extremely depressed around the soundstage area. Our announcer for the tour, Owen, drove past the sound stages, and he starts talking about the Land of the Lost movie. When he's done, he reminds us to check out the movie. Here's the quote: "And don't forget to check out Land of the Lost, an upcoming comedy by Will Ferrell." I can I can easily say now, I'm not looking forward to this movie, but if you can, please tell me your thoughts on this. And that's from Brandon.
Come on, that Land of the Lost. Even though it scared the crap out of me when I was a little kid, it was a kid's show. Man, so you can't